This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I hope that you'll consider this a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart today. And wherever you receive podcasts, if you would please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, and if you would leave a brief written review, and a rating, it would be very helpful. It would enable others to be able to locate this podcast. Today I want to speak to you about what happens when we have the collision of our dream or dreams with life. There's a quote from John Lennon that I love. Life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. You know, I talk a lot about making plans and setting goals and having dreams and following your dreams and making a difference, striving to make a God-given difference in the world, regardless of your vocation. You may not even feel like a leader, but you're leading something. You're a leader in your home. If nothing else, you have to lead yourself. And we can start with these goals or these dreams, and you have this dream that you want to do, and then the bills come due, and the children get sick, or the job transfer comes in, or you have relational breakdowns. And what at one time, sitting at a desk, sitting at a table, writing out your dreams and all that would involve, and you have these great plans and these steps that you're going to take, and then life happens. The year is far enough along that I can look back and see what were the plans, the dreams, the goals that I had for this year. And I have probably experienced 6 to 10 things that there was no way at the beginning of the year that I could foresee that they were going to happen, but that doesn't keep them from happening. And some of them were fairly major. And so there was a few days and hours in which it felt like my dreams and my goals and my life had a head-on collision. And as some of that wreckage was being towed away, there is this tendency to say something to the effect, well, it really doesn't matter. I guess it wasn't meant to be. And we take our dreams and we put them on a back shelf, put them in the hall closet way back where no one will ever see them again. I'm trying to get you prepared. Life is happening, and it happens in real time. And no matter how prudent and prepared you are, my friend, life still happens. So what do you do when your dream collides with life? First of all, you just have to know it's going to happen. No one's life runs on autopilot forever. We all have hiccups. We all experience setbacks. Quit feeling that somehow you have been picked on, and what you're going through is unlike anything that anyone in the human race has ever gone through. We all have them. So acknowledge that. It's going to happen. Our lives are not perfectly prepackaged and delivered to us. Your dreams and life are going to have several head-on collisions. So the question today on Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom is, what do you do when that happens? Not if it happens, but in fact when it happens. Well, let's start with a dream. Because in order to live out a dream, a goal, vision, whatever word you want to use, let's just start with what our dream is, and then let's work backward. Many people want to start with a plan. But I was a very, very young man when Dr. Martin Luther King gave his famous speech, "I have a dream." And it changed the course of an entire nation. Many people seemingly aren't aware that Dr. King was also a Baptist minister, so he knew how to give a speech or a sermon. But I mentioned some time ago that this famous speech, life-changing, history-changing, the speech was not entitled, "I Have a Plan." A lot of people have a plan, but you don't have to start with the plan. Dr. King started with a dream, and then the plan came later. So first of all, if all you have is a plan, and your plan meets life head on and you have a collision, I guarantee you 101 times out of 100, your plan will go by the wayside. It should be a little harder to stop and destroy a dream. A dream is something that so consumes you. You are so filled with wonder at it. It has so captured your heart, your mind, and your imagination that you are not going to let go of it. So you have to start with the dream and know that. Now, you understand that Dr. Martin Luther King may have had a dream, but he ended up in jail and being beaten, mistreated, spat upon. Just because you have a dream doesn't mean it's a straight path to it. Sometimes it's a very circuitous path. Sometimes it takes us on a few little detours along the way. But the dream is the destiny. The dream is the North Star. The dream is what is driving. And so you have to start. Here is the dream of a preferred future. Then work your way back and say, how over the years, the year, the months, the month, the days, this day, what do I need to begin doing in my life to make that dream a reality? And there'll be many adjustments, and there'll be many situations where it feels like the dream has died. There's been a head-on collision, but you need to keep moving. The villain of every dream, the villain of every goal, the villain of every aspiration you and I have or ever will have is procrastination. I'll get around to it tomorrow. I especially look back on my younger years, and I overestimated the amount of time that I was going to have, because now I can see senior citizenship over the horizon, and you know what's beyond that. And I realize more than ever in my life that time is a precious commodity. And quit procrastinating, because I don't care if you're a teenager, you just have to get moving. The greatest battle you will ever win is the battle against yourself and the gravitational pull of laziness and procrastination. So because your dream is going to collide with life sooner or later, you just have to make up your mind that you're going to battle persistence the rest of you're going to be a persistent person battling procrastination. Got a little ahead of myself because I'm going to give you 5 things that you need to do to keep your dream alive when your dream has had a head-on collision with life. The first one is persistence. I've already mentioned that. Procrastination is the enemy. But when your dream has a head-on collision with life, you'll be just tempted to give up. What's the use? Be persistent. It's okay to take a couple of days off. It's all right to reevaluate. It's all right to say, do I need to make adjustments? It's even perfectly acceptable to take some time aside and say, do I still feel as passionate about this dream, this vision that I did a year ago, a month ago, 5 years ago, whatever the timeline? And then just remember that every great leader, every average leader for that matter, has had mishaps, has made mistakes, have had life happen to them. But if your dream is truly your North Star, then start over, keep persistent, and keep at it. The reason that many people don't persist is that when you're persisting and you're making small changes and you're moving in a particular direction, if you're going on a 1,000-mile trip, you're not going to get there in the next hour, but you could be 50 miles or 60 miles down the road. You have to measure the progress, not the gap from where you are today to where you want to be. Make up your mind, just covenant together that I'm going to persist with my dream even when life has hit me head on. You have to be persistent. The second thing that I think you need to do when your dream has had a head-on collision with life is it's a great time to stop and offer gratitude. You'll say, what? Gratitude? Yes. Be grateful for the good times and even the bad times. Begin to ask yourself, out of all of the things that I've experienced, I am thankful today for God, for my family, for my friends, for my health, whatever it is. We have a tendency, because of the way the world is wired right now, that everything becomes cynical, everything becomes divisive, everything becomes negative. We need to be people who are grateful. Just by stopping, even in the midst of a tough time, and counting your blessings and counting what you're grateful for will begin to change your perspective on where you are. Now, when your dream has a head-on collision with life, I think the third thing you need to do is remind yourself that it doesn't matter how much you get done, but I want to do it well. And that would be the word excellence. I think right in the middle of a head-on collision and a mess is a wonderful time to say, I still have my dream, and even though there may be a setback right now, I'm still going to go at it with excellence. Do your best. I think the fourth thing that I would say to you when your dream has had a head-on collision with life is to ask yourself this question that I try to ask myself every day. Have I learned something today? And from the vantage point of my life, I can share with you that the greatest lessons, the greatest times of growth and learning were not particularly on the mountaintop or when things were going really, really well. Sure enough, there were things to learn there, absolutely. But the greatest life lessons I have learned have come when life and myself had a head-on collision. I learned many times, some of the greatest lessons I've learned is I've learned what doesn't work. I've learned that's not going to be what I really needed to do. And there's nothing like when your dream has a head-on collision with life to step back and say, all right, what is the lesson here? What's the takeaway? What's the thing that will help me not only with this dream, but other things, or just be a great life lesson? If you turn everything into a schoolhouse, if you turn every experiment into a laboratory of learning, you will get so far down the road, you are not even going to be able to believe it today. So in the midst of the collision, ask yourself, what have I learned today? Have I learned a way not to do something? Friends, never underestimate what a valuable lesson that is. The last thing that I would say that you need to do when your dream has had a head-on collision with life is it is a reminder that we're not going to see much done in our lives until and unless we become intentional. Dreams don't just happen. Goals are not just reached by happenstance, circumstance, or accidentally. It has to be done on purpose and with intentionality. And yet I meet people literally all of the time who are just sort of a wandering generality through life. Their idea is, I'm going to live until I'm old enough to collect Social Security, and I'm just headed for the finish line, and whatever happens, happens. And I'm just sort of wandering around, and if someone has something today they'd like me to do, then that will indeed become what I am going to do. But if you have a dream, and you have some goals, and you have a purpose in life, you can't wander around with nothing accomplished. You have to be intentional. You have to get out of bed with a plan. You have to work your plan. You have to do productive things. Now, obviously, you have to take time off, and you have to spend time with your family, and you have to get alone to think, and you go on vacation. Absolutely. But live every day with an intention. I'm going to reach my goal. I'm going to do the God-given things that He has given me to do. So friend, count on it. Your dream will have, and probably will have, a few head-on collisions with life. And you start with your dream, you work backwards. Don't allow procrastination, the great villain for all of us, to rob you of your dreams as it robs you of your time. And so what do you do when you're in this situation? Be persistent. Do not give up. Be a grateful person, a person who offers gratitude and thanks even in the midst of difficulty. Commit yourself to excellence. Do your best. You don't have to be perfect, but don't be half-hearted. Always ask yourself, especially in these kinds of situations, what have I learned today? And just make up your mind you're going to be intentional every day to make a difference and to move ahead. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this has been a vitamin or a supplement for your mind. Remember, leader, it's going to be natural. There are going to be collisions between your dreams and life, but you can make it, and you're doing better than you think you are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.